Alright, welcome everyone to another coffee tasting. I'm Aaron Taylor, your host. Merry Christmas everyone, by the way, or Happy Holidays. Today we are tasting the Reserve Christmas. The Reserve Christmas is going to be a blend of two exceptional coffees. We're going to have the Aged Sumatra, which is going to be like our foundation coffee that's going to have like those robust flavors. And then we're going to have the Alsacia coffee, the Costa Rica Alsacia. So the Costa Rica Alsacia is going to have more of those like nutty milk chocolatey notes. So those nutty milk chocolatey notes are going to kind of bring that flavor down, bring away some of those bitters. I really like this coffee. It's very smooth, very mellow. One of my favorites out of all the Christmas variants that Starbucks has to offer. So we are going to brew this coffee two different ways. We're going to brew it on the classic pour over and then the coffee press. The reason why I like to brew the coffees two different ways or multiple ways is so that we can kind of explore the different flavors that you're going to experience just by brewing coffees, the same coffee, but with different brew methods. And so with different brew methods, you're going to bring out different flavors because you're probably getting more sediment or more oils. And so depending on what's actually getting into your cup, that's going to impact the flavor. And so with the French press, I'm going to assume that we're going to see a lot more of those roasty notes come through from the Aged Sumatra with that earthy mouthfeel. But on the pour over, it's going to be very smooth. We're going to get a lot more of those Costa Rican like nutty caramely notes with the milk chocolate finish. So that's pretty much why I like to brew it different ways, is so we can kind of explore the different flavors that we get from coffee just by brewing it differently. So you can have like the same bag of coffee, but depending on how you brew it is going to affect the all-out flavor. And so if you're looking for like a really light cup of coffee with very little oil and absolutely no sediment inside the coffee, then a Chemex is going to be perfect for you because it has that triple paper filter. So a lot more of those oils are going to get trapped inside the paper filter, not making its way into the cup. So it's going to end up being a very, very smooth cup of coffee. But if you're looking for like that heavy, robust cup of coffee, then a French press or a coffee press is going to be the way to go, because you're going to get a lot more of those sediments. And with the more sediments that you get in your cup of coffee, it's going to impact the flavor more because you're going to get a lot more of those bitters and a lot more tannins that are going to impact the palate of your tongue. And then if you're not sure what brew method you're going to like, you can always just go with a classic pour over. It's, the in-between of all brew methods. There are a ton of other brew methods to explore too, besides what I have displayed right here. Lots of cool different ways. One of my coworkers, he has a mocha pot. And one day he's going to come over and join me for one of these live tastings, and we're going to brew some coffee on his little mocha pot. It's kind of like an espresso machine, but it's a single serve, and you don't need like all the fancy stuff. So it serves espresso style coffee, but in a different way. So you're going to get a lot more of those bitter flavors because the coffee is going to be finely ground, and you're pushing the water through compacted coffee, so you're getting more flavor. But with this, today we're just doing the coffee press and the pour over. With the Christmas roast, I really want to highlight with the Reserve Christmas, I really want to highlight the Alsacia blend. Because the Costa Rica Alsacia, first off, Costa Rica Alsacia is one of the first farms to be owned by Starbucks. So Starbucks actually owns this particular farm. The gentleman who owned the Costa Rica Alsacia farm, he wanted to pass the farm off to his sons, but they wanted to go to college for like technology, so like computer science and other stuff like that. And so he really had no one to pass the farm down to anyone. And so he decided to sell the farm to Starbucks. But the best part about this is the fact that Starbucks owns the farm now. They run maintenance and facilities, but the gentleman who owned the farm prior, he still works on the farm. He runs the day-to-day operations. So the farm still runs the same way that he would run it, but now Starbucks just pretty much maintains it. So Starbucks takes care of it. You know, they bring a little bit more to the table as well, like in terms of technology, and we're going to get into that too right now. But it's really cool that he's able to, you know, maintain or keep the farm the way he would run it, but at the same time, like, you know, Starbucks is taking care of it, so he can be rest assured that, you know, the farm is in good hands, just because, you know, he's there on site, you know, still there to oversee things. And then there's a lot of technological development going on with the coffee in Costa Rica, specifically when it comes to like global warming, because right now a lot of farms in South America are being hit with this disease called the rust disease. And so what the rust disease is it turns the color of the leaves a rust color, and when that happens, the plants can't photosynthesize properly, so they're not getting enough nutrients, they're not making food for themselves, and so farmers end up losing entire crops to this rust disease. And a lot of these coffee farms, they're family-owned farms, and so when, you know, they lose an entire farm, that's an entire family losing out on that year's profit. Like you know, it takes a whole year to get a yield, and so they're missing out on an entire year of funds, and so that really impacts the families and the coffee growers. So something that they're doing, or that they did in Costa Rica, Alsacia, is they have like these scientists agricultural scientists, and they spliced some beans or coffee trees of the Robusto, which grow at a lower elevation, but they have a natural resistance to the rust disease. And they spliced this Robusto plant with the Arabica plant. So Starbucks normally only sells Arabica beans, which grow at higher elevations, so you're getting a higher quality coffee. But with these new plants, it's a splice between the Arabica and the Robusto, and so you're inheriting the resistance to the rust. And so they've completely replaced all the plants in the Costa Rica Alsacia farm with these rust-resistant hybrid plants. And then also, a year later, Starbucks started this initiative where every bag of beans that we sold in the store, we would replace trees with the rust-resistant hybrid in South America. So there's a lot of farms in South America that are a part of this initiative where their trees have been replaced with these rust-resistant trees, to ensure that these coffee growers and these families can still grow their coffee and make their money at the end of the year. So that's how important this farm, Costa Rica Alsacia, is. It's like the forefront of technology, coffee technology. And the best part about this kind of technology is it doesn't have to stay within the coffee world. These kind of technologies can be applied to other things, with other types of plants and food that are being impacted by global warming. We can, you know, take this technology that we're learning and develop it in other parts of agriculture. So it's really cool to see how coffee has such a major impact on not just like the culture of the communities where it comes from, and not just like the economy, but even technology. You wouldn't think that coffee would impact technology, but in a world that we live in today where things are changing, and we have to keep up with the changing weather, we are coming up with these ways to continue to grow coffee even through these diseases that the plants are experiencing. So it's really cool to be a part of that, and it's really cool to be able to share that story with you guys, because, you know, we're living in a time where adaptation is important, and technology has to be part of that adaptation because it's happening so fast that adaptation doesn't happen on its own um, in at this such pace. So we have to kind of like help it, and so that's what this is all about with the technology of like splicing two trees. And we're not like genetically modifying with genes and stuff like that. We're just taking two different trees that have different traits, and we're putting them together and letting them grow as one to create a new hybrid. And so that's what that's all about. So it's really cool to see these different types of technology that we're able to come up with. And it's not new technology either. It's just it's old technology that we're applying to different parts of agriculture, and then also looking for certain traits that we want from different plants. So like, because we wanted the rust-resistant trait, we took a Robusto coffee tree and spliced it with a Arabica coffee tree. So we're not like going outside the coffee genome or anything like that. We're just choosing a different variant or strain of coffee and splicing the two. So that's what that's all about. And so it's really cool to see how we're able to do that and help nature along with evolution through simple splicing, something that can actually happen in real life on its own. I mean, it would be very rare, but it could happen. So with the French press, I'm going to assume that we're going to get a lot more of the earthy notes with the roastiness of the H. Sumatra. So one of the first things I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to sniff my coffee. Ooh, that's actually really nice. I think I'm actually going to like the French press on this one much better than the pour over, because this coffee's so light that the French press is going to darken it up a little bit so that it has a little bit more flavor, because on the pour over it might be a little bit too light, but we'll find out right now. Ooh, yeah, so with the French press, we're immediately getting hit with that bitterness on the back and sides of the tongue, where we get a little bit of the light roastiness, the roasty acidicness is slightly there, but we're getting more bitters. But it's not too intense because this is a light coffee. It's not going to be overwhelmingly bitter, but it's much more bitter than it would be in like a normal brew, like a normal natural drip coffee. That's really good. And then as I let the palate clear, I'm left with that. I've got that heavy milk chocolate mouthfeel from the Costa Rica. So as the bitters start to leave, I have that milk chocolate feel. So that's a really nice cup of coffee. If I had like maybe like an almond croissant to pair with that, that'd be brilliant, because then the almond butter and then the almonds on there would really complement the nutty flavors of the Costa Rica and kind of bring some of that out and kind of hide some of the those bitters. And so now we're going to try the pour over. With the pour over, I'm going to assume that a lot more of that the light roastiness and maybe some more of the nutty flavors from the Costa Rica are going to come out, and then the earthiness from the H. Sumatra is going to kind of take a back seat because a lot of those sediments are chilling in the paper filter. Oh yeah, so with this coffee, bitterness is almost non-existent. It's a little bit there, but the brightness of the roastiness, it's like a roasty acidicness on the sides of your tongue, kind of like takes over. So that's what you get initially with the pour over, is that immediate wash over the sides of your tongue. You get like that super acidicness, and then even right now, as my palate is cleared, I still have that flavor on the sides of my tongue, like it's sitting there. So this one would be like really good with like a cheese, because the more acidic and that herbal mouthfeel is gonna leave your palate a little dry, and so you're gonna want something savory to pair with the pour over, that's for sure. I get a little bit of that chocolate mouthfeel, but the chocolate definitely comes out a lot more in the in the French press. It's very interesting because last week and the week before that, all the coffees that I did on the French press versus the pour over, I always like the pour over versus the French press because the French press always came out too strong for my style. I'm not a big fan of that super intense, bitter mouth feel that you get after you let the palate clear. But this coffee, because it's so light, on the coffee press, it is exceptional. It's got that necessary roasty bitterness, but it's not overwhelming like a normal dark roast coffee. And then that chocolatey mouthfeel that comes through at the end, like those bitter chocolate notes that come out. Just adding maybe just a touch of milk to this would be perfect, because then you're almost if you add like a little bit of half and half, kind of bring out more of those chocolate notes, and almost make it taste like almost like a hot chocolate. Excuse me, a hot chocolate. If you guys have any questions about the coffee that I'm drinking right now, go ahead and throw those down. And then also, Merry Christmas, you guys, or Happy Holidays. Thank you guys for joining. It is a pleasure to have you guys join me on Christmas for this coffee tasting. It is a passion of mine to share the knowledge that I have with the coffees. And then I have a passion about learning about these different coffees because the stories that they have to tell, because they are small lot coffees, we get to learn about the individual farmers, the people who own the farms, and then the strife that they go through, or even just like the strong connections that they have with the community. And so by me learning those stories, I'm able to share those stories with you guys, and that has really become my passion lately. Is First it started off as just a passion of learning myself, and then as I started doing these coffee tastings, it's really become more of a passion of teaching you guys about the coffee growers and what they go through, and then how Starbucks does their part to help these coffee growers around the world, and then us as baristas, and then you guys as customers are all a part of it, because without us and without you guys, we wouldn't be able to help these coffee growers from around the world. Next month we are getting 3 brand new reserve coffees. We will be exploring those next month. We've got some really cool ones. We've got one that's from Latin America that has specifically replaced all their coffee trees with the Robusto Arabica splice tree. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well when we get to that coffee. But then we have some really cool African coffees as well that are coming out next month. So I hope you guys will join me next month for the new coffees that we'll be getting at the Reserve store. And then we'll also be exploring some more core coffees next month, just to kind of explore those flavors and how you can get a core cup of coffee and drink it, different brew methods to get that. Say, like, you could really make a medium roast, a bold cup of coffee just the way you brew it. So like if you go get a Colombian coffee and then you brew it on a French press, you're really going to bring out some of those bold bitter notes. And then because Colombia has those really dark milk chocolate, or not dark chocolate, but really heavy milk chocolatey notes towards the end with those nutty notes, with the French press we're going to get a lot of those bitter chocolate notes. So we're going to explore that too, is how we can, elevate the core experience through different brew methods to bring out different flavors that we prefer over others. So yeah, If you guys have any questions, go ahead and throw it down in chat. Oh, while I wait for those questions to pop up, I'm going to sip on some of this French press. I hope everyone is having a great Christmas. It has been rough times as of lately. So all I can say, you guys, right now is keep your head up. Find your medium, whatever it is, to keep you slightly distracted. Make yourself happy, whatever it is you got to do. Read books, watch TV, whatever it is that you do to escape. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you're not escaping too much. That you want to be aware of what's going on around you in the world. But like I said, keep your head up. We all get through this together. We got to help each other out. And then this is another one of these coffee tastings are about is helping everyone get through these hard times. Shifting to a new trend, as you can see with these coffee tastings being online. We're doing what we can to still connect with the human spirit and just educate and learn about different cultures. So I hope everyone is staying safe and staying sane, and just doing what you can to keep yourself happy in these rough times, because that's all you can do, really, is to try and just keep yourself happy. That's my Christmas message for 2020. But this coffee press on the Christmas, it's key. This is the way to go. If you like a well balanced cup of coffee, bitter but not too bitter, the coffee press with the Christmas Alsacia is the way to go. It smooths out towards the end. You get that bitter bite at the very beginning with that milk chocolate mouthfeel towards the end. Yeah, this is gonna be my coffee for the afternoon, and I'm gonna be wired. So, and I wanna thank everyone who joined me. The video wouldn't be so great, but the video just paused, so I'll be right back, you guys. Okay, there we go. Alright, so my camera is now starting to act up again. I got it to work the other day. I had some problems with it the other day. Got it working again, but it still likes to act up. So it does like to freeze, and once it freezes, it likes to freeze again shortly afterwards. So I am going to call the live stream at that. So again, thank you all for joining. I hope you guys enjoyed the coffee tasting of the Christmas Reserve Alsacia, where we brewed it on the coffee press and the pour over. If you're a bigger fan of the darker notes, I would prefer the coffee press. But if you like more of the bright herbal roasty notes, go with the pour over. You get a lot more of that acidic, bright roastiness coming out in the pour over. I prefer the coffee press. But again, thank you guys. Merry Christmas. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your holidays. I will see you Tuesday, where we will be doing one of the new reserve coffees. I will post it online which coffee we'll be doing, so you have a chance to stop into the store to grab some grinds to brew alongside with me. But again, everyone, thank you. Merry Christmas. If you guys enjoyed the coffee tasting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, you guys. Thanks again. Have a great day. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.